All right. So, hi, Santana. I am so glad that you decided to get up here today and share your story as an overcomer. And so, we're going to jump right in because I'm super excited to hear your story. I know it will empower and impact women, and not only women, but men all over the world. And so, I know you have overcome many obstacles throughout your life, but if you had to choose just one obstacle that you did overcome, what
Mhm.
would that area be?
I would choose single parenting. That was one of the strongest and hardest ones. So I would choose that one.
Okay, awesome. And so tell me what your life looked like as a single parent.
So as a single parent, number one, we never signed up for being a single parent. As a young mother, I had my first child at 20 years old. So, me wanting a family thing didn't quite work out. So my first daughter dad, he went to jail, was faced with 17 years. He ended up doing 10 of them. So off top, she was 6 months years old. 6 month old, and so I was forced to be a single parent at early on in my road, up in my journey. So when he went to jail, she was a baby, so she really didn't know him. Fast forward to 2 years later, I met my twins dad, and so I had two more kids, and we ended up being together. But eventually that didn't work out either. So he ended up, going his way, part his way. That was the only dad that she did know, but still, that didn't last long. So at that moment, there was many times where crying took place. Focus off school, didn't, me crying that took place. And not only for me being a single parent, something that I didn't sign up for, it was more of seeing my children and the pain that they were experiencing. So, the tantrums at school, and the them, not having that father figure, if you will. So that kind of played a big part on me, and a part as if I failed them in some kind of way. So that's what it looked like to me in the beginning. It looked like failure.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for that background. I very much so think that background is needed because a lot of people are dealing with this situation. And so just for you to touch in detail about how it looked and really painted a picture, that was awesome. So I do thank you for that insight. My next question is what effects did being a single parent bring to not only you, you already touched about you a little bit, but how did it affect your children as well?
It affected them in a major way, especially my daughter that the dad that was in jail. She never had him around, so she never really knew him. Happened to visit him in between the walls. It was it played a major part in her life as an upcoming. So she really, I mean, she'd been to see him in jail and things of that nature, but um, acting out in school, kind of trying to find herself and trying to see if she was actually loved, if you will. And she went a whole nother route with shutting down, not talking. So again, that affected not only her but also her younger siblings. Um, them actually falling out, me having to go to the school each and every day, having to call in from work because they're doing this and they're doing that. So I believe it was a lack of love that they felt, and really with the twins at a time, on the strength that they did have their dad at first, but then him end up leaving as well. So it's just that lack of love that they felt, and I had to play both mom and dad, and it was a kind of a difficult task because as much as we can try to play dad, we can never be dad. So, just not being able to feel that for them, and them being babies, not understanding what's going on and what's taking place, and why daddy left, and why daddy never got to know me, never got to hug me, never, why do I have to see my dad behind bars, and why do I have to I'm not able to hug them like that. I'm not able to kiss them, things of that nature. So, it goes deep when it comes to the children as well. And as they grew. So this was just, kind of the babyhood. But even as they're older now, I have a 15-year-old, and my twins are 13 now. So even at now, my 15-year-old daughter, the dad was in jail. So he's out now, but she can't even build a relationship with him on the strength that she don't know him. So it's pretty much of a, kind of a, hi, I know that this is my dad, but, um, so, and then my twins, they went through a phase to where, they talked about their dad so much to where they didn't understand. I never talked down on him, bad about him or anything. So it was just a matter of, my dad this, my dad this. So they still glorified their dad. And I gave them that until they were old enough to understand and to see themselves what was taking place and how it was taking place. So now they understand that, oh, okay, my dad don't want to be around me. And, so that lack of love. But yeah, so that's the kids part. I'm gonna stop there with the kids part.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And then, so you talked a little about how it affected you as being the mom and having to do everything, alone and on your own. And then a little about how it damaged the kids emotionally, right? And how they were trying to cope with it. Mm-hmm. So I do want to ask, when all this was going on, when did you, as the mother, as the single parent, decide that this was no longer going to work for you and your children and that you had to do something about it? When did that moment, like that aha moment, come where you realized that, hey, this isn't working and I'm going to do something about it to change?
Well, I knew, number one, that these children were mine, at the end of the day. So I knew that I couldn't give up. As many times as I wanted to throw in the towel and give up, it made me stronger to where, I started to help them to understand that, even them growing up, I wanted to help them understand that, no, you are loved. This is all of the love you need. I introduced them to God, and helped them to understand that, even though your physical father is not here, you always have a father, so I kind of introduced them to God. I turned my life over to God. And because I knew that, with the hardships and the struggles of being a single parent, hiding under boxes and up in my room trying to lock myself in, things of that nature, crying, trying to keep strong from my kids not seeing me cry, and things like that, and them wanting their dad and him not being there. I just had to turn it over to God. So I started to pray more, and started to, introduce my children to God at a young age, and help them to understand that no matter what, God will always be with you. This is your father. He's also my father, and he will always take care of us and things of that nature. So, just introducing them to God, it was a breaking point for me, because I did feel myself, wanting to really give up, just say, I can't do it. And I knew that I couldn't do that. Like, looking at my baby's face, it was like, no, I can't do that. So I believe that was the turning point for me, the overcoming point. So I just started to work on me, and not worry about anything else. So I wasn't worried about a man. I wasn't worried about no outside, nothing. I just stayed focused and started to really understand who Jesus was, and to understand my mind and how it worked and how it can play tricks on you as well. So I started to fill my mind with more positive things and not think about how their dad wasn't in their life or what they was doing and why they don't check on their babies or call and say happy birthday and these kind of things. It was a breaking point. Listen, you have to be the one to get up and let's go. This is your responsibility. So that, at the end of the day, I feel like, hey, that's their loss, and I really put that up in my mind to where, I'm like, this has to stop. And so I focused on me. And when I start focusing on me and my babies, and everything start to change. God start opening up doors. He start to make me see things better. He start to open up my spiritual eyes and ears. So I was able to hear and I was able to see and I was able to think, and it wasn't just thinking in the worldly, realm, the earthly realm. I was thinking in the spirit. So as I'm thinking in the spirit, oh, now my children are thinking in the spirit as well. So it started to overflow on them.
Awesome. That is so good. That is so good. And you actually jumped into my next question because I was going to ask you what practical steps you took to overcome. But like you said, just focusing on yourself, focusing on your relationship with Christ, not just your relationship, but giving that teaching to your children, allowing them to see that, hey, Christ is all you need. Even if your father is not here, he will be a father to the fatherless. So that is awesome. Is there anything else that you would give to somebody, like practical steps that they can do to overcome being a single parent, or even just strengthening them in it?
Yeah, I would say, it's not an easy task at all, because the children don't understand. I will tell you guys that the older they get, the better it get. I wouldn't say that it will always, that it'll just be all together, but you will overcome because it does get better as they get older because they start to look at things and see things for themselves now instead of what mama say what lies daddy is feeding them. And me personally, I do feel like that it's kind of I really don't like to use the word punishment, but I do feel like that it's a punishment from God on the strength that we did it without being married. We sinned. So this was a discipline, if you will, and he is our father, so he will whoop us. And but in the same sense, let us know that he's there, and he will get us through. So I will just tell you guys to really stay strong. It's not for the weak, but it's not for you to give up either. So whatever that you need to do it. Whatever you need to do to strengthen yourself, it's doable. And so you have to block out everything else. I would say self-discipline, self-love, because we start to feel insecure and like we did something wrong. Like I said in the beginning, I felt like a failure to my children because I brought them in this world to in with these men, and now they're not here. So I felt like the failure, and my kids looking at me like, what's going on, and there will be down days and there will be up and glory days, but that's in any day, not just in the single parenting world. So I would just say, find your it. My it was Jesus. I'm not gonna put my beliefs on anyone else, but my it was Jesus, to where he turned me around. He turned my mind, he turned everything. I have to give him the glory. I'm sorry. But find your it and move along with that. If your it is for you to just step away from men for a minute and focus. If your it is just looking at yourself in a mirror, giving yourself affirmation to be able to change your mind, whatever your it is, to focus on you and your babies. I will feel like that's what you need to do to overcome being a single parent and not focusing on the problem itself, but a solution to get you guys through, because you are still dependent on from your baby. So you have to do it no matter what. So whatever it is, then let's go. I'm more than happy to help anyone, give you some encouraging words, or to be that shoulder to cry on. Because like I said, it's not easy, but it's baby steps, that one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, and move forward to the best of your ability to make your babies the successful human being they are.
Woo, good. That was awesome. Powerful, powerful, powerful. And just your relationship with Christ and growing in Christ, because the word tells us to seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these other things will be added on to us. And that right there is just evidence that his word is going to stand. Okay. His word is going to stand no matter what. And when you took the time to just seek God and get to know who you are and who Christ has called you to be, and like you said, didn't even worry about a man, but was just solely focused on your relationship with Christ, and that's when he brought along the person that he had for you. And so if you don't mind me asking, at what point did you feel like you knew your husband was the one? Like, was it confirmation that you received from Christ? How did that come about?
So it was really weird because God has a sense of humor. But I was at a point to where, because I do have all girls. When I was single for 6 years, 6.5 years straight. And so this was the time, I was finding me and finding out who Christ was and things of that nature. But I would dib and dab, not like I wasn't in nothing serious, but I will talk to men, and I'm just like, I don't know like what's wrong, like if it's me or what. But in the midst, like I was continuously to run into men that just wasn't it. So like I said, I just stepped back all the way and just focus and pray to God. And it was really crazy, because when I prayed one day, I did tell God that I wanted a husband. Like, I wanted to be loved. I wanted a husband. I knew I was worthy of it. And God showed me that, that I was worthy of it as well. And then like, I'll say about a month or so later, I prayed to God, and and I told him, I said, well, you brought me, you took me 6 years being single. And so if it take another 6 years and for me to get the person that you send me, then so be it. I'm willing to do just that. So, and I was serious. Like, if it would have took 12 years for God to send me my husband, then that's what it was gonna be. And I made that covenant with him, and I was very serious, and he knew my heart, and so he knew that I was serious, and I took that 6 years out. So he knew that I can do it. And then I told my sisters now one day, I was like, you know what? I just feel like that I'm gonna be single until my children get grown. Now me thinking, okay, so I done prayed about this, but it was back when. So I'm thinking, maybe God gonna make me wait another 6 years, which was fine. And so I told my sister and my friend, I said, you know what? I'm going to wait until my children get grown, because I don't want them, different men in and out their life and all of that. I mean, it was already hurtful for them, for their dads doing it. So I couldn't stand for another man to do it. And I promise you, 1 month after that, it was almost as if God said, God, you thought, you know, and he brought my husband to me. I met my husband, and I'm just like, everything about this man was everything that I wanted in all of these other men that I have ever been with. And I'm like, wait, I said, okay, God, give me some kind of confirmation, because I don't want to do it. I don't know if if you trying to test me, because I said I can wait another 6 years or what, because I can. And and so he gave me a confirmation, because I said I was real specific. I said, God, okay, so this man has everything that I like in a man, like everything that I've been wanting in a man. If this is if this is confirmation that you sent him to me, then allow him to do something to change his life right now. Because he was, not to put his business out there, but he was drinking lean and all that when I met him. And, I wasn't with that. So I'm like, but he had everything else. It was just that little flaw. And then, so I said, allow him to do something to change his life right now. Like, and I'm like, in the name of Jesus, I mean, I know that you're worthy. I know that you can do it. So one day he came over my house and I was watching a sermon, and he grabbed the phone from me and started watching the sermon. So he watched the whole sermon with me. And then the next day he called me. He said, I would like to go to church with you. And I'm not, I just want to let you know that I'm not doing that stuff no more. I'm not drinking lean anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not. And I was like, wait a minute, and but I felt like that was my confirmation for him to be a person that enjoyed doing that, and for him to stop all of a sudden and want to go to church and want to watch a sermon. It was almost like, God told me, yeah, this is your husband. This is the one that I sent. So that was my confirmation.
Okay, that is sweet. And what I realized just by your testimony and telling me the steps, it was God didn't give you, although it took 6 years and you were working on yourself, you were still dipping and dabbing, when you got to a place of contentment.
Yeah.
It said, God, if you do this now, or if it takes you another 6 years, whatever your will is, I'm okay with that. So you have reached a place of I'm content if you do it or if you don't.
Right.
And when you got content, that's when he answered. So that is awesome. Sanntanna, your story is amazing. And I know it is going to bless not only just single mothers, but from the flip side, a single father, because there are men that, are single fathers out here raising their kids on their own. They desire marriage. They desire that family as well. So I do see behind you that you have warriors. I can see Warriors for Warriors. And that is a beautiful logo, by the way. So go ahead and share with us, how can we connect with you? People, because you have so much wisdom, and I do know that we all have a different lane. And so the people that will come across this, not only will I be able to help them, but your story can help them. And not only just your story, but your services that you offer and the things that you are doing. So just share with the viewers and the people who will tune in later, how they can get in contact with you. How can they network and connect with you?
Okay. Well, I have a women's ministry as well. So that's another thing that God has blessed me with. Warriors for Warriors is the ministry. I have a group on Facebook, and that is the name as well. So I'm on that platform. I'm also on Instagram. My name on Instagram is Miss Sigmund. I haven't got my Warriors for Warriors page up just yet on Instagram, but it's in the making. My website is in the making as well. And I am able to be reached on YouTube as well for and Warriors for Warriors. So awesome. I'm life coach, mentor. So I do the youth and I do women. So I do them both. So if you're looking for either, then yes, that's how you are able to find me.
Okay, perfect. And then what kind of do you have, like, what's your niche? What's your area of specialty?
So my ministry is based out of Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. So I'm all about the mind changing. So if you notice, that's a lot with that, what I talked about as far as being a single parent. It was my mind that had to change, so I was conformed to the world. I had to change my mind. And God did help me with that. So I feel like if it worked for me, my whole life changed with the transforming of my mind. This is what people need out here, to transform their mind. And in it, when you transform your mind, everything else will flow. just like you said earlier, you seek he first. So when you seek he will transform your mind. And when you transform your mind, everything else is going to transform for you, for sure. For sure.
Okay, awesome. So yes, y'all definitely go ahead and connect with Sanntanna. I will put all your information as well down in the link below the description. This will be up on YouTube, but it's also going to be on other platforms, so Instagram, Facebook, and I want to make sure that they're able to get your information and connect, because like I said, the goal is souls, winning souls for the kingdom and empowering people. So everybody that comes across this, they're not going to be, for me, but I also want to be able to share just the platform that I have with other women, because we are all needed in the body of Christ. And so, Sanntanna, I want to thank you for just sharing your testimony, for being totally transparent. I am all about transparency and being open, and not just trying to, put on the act, but telling people the things that nobody wants to talk about. And, the things that we just kind of push to the back. But those are the things that are going to bring about true transformation and bring that overcomer out of people, because it's going to be people that will run across this and they're in this situation. They're a single parent and they're trying to figure out, how do I come out of this? And so your testimony and your experience is going to touch lives. And so I just want to thank you for sharing your wisdom. You are a very wise woman. And I just want to empower you, since you have poured out to us on this evening. I just want to empower you and let you know that you are everything that God has called you to be. Continue to work on your mindset and continue to be you, be authentic. You don't have to change your hair color. You don't have to change anything about yourself, because that's what the world needs. The world needs Sanntanna to show up as Sanntanna. Nobody else. You don't have to do anything like Mary or anybody else that you see out here, but just be authentically true to you. And God is going to blow your mind, because you have a calling on your life, and it's bigger than this. This is just the beginning. He is just getting started, and you have places to go. God has things for you to do. Work for the kingdom. And so, like I said, the goal is the souls, winning souls over for Christ. And you have an amazing testimony, and that's just one area. Okay, so if he did it in that one area, honey, I know he has allowed you to overcome many, many things. And no matter what it looks like, we have days that we're up and we have days when we're down, but continue to open up your mouth. There is power in your voice. And when you open up your mouth and speak, the gates of hell shake. Demons tremble when you open up your mouth. So continue to go forth, be all that God has called you to be, no matter what people say, no matter who say what, how they receive it or not. The people that God needs you to reach, they need you to show up just like you are. And so I just want to thank you again on the behalf of She Overcomer LLC. And we definitely gonna bring you up here again, woman of God. Because woman of God, we're definitely gonna bring you up here again. But I just want to thank you for being a part. And you just have an amazing day. Continue to go forth and do the work of the Lord. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
All right. Bye.